Meeting to order. Appreciate everybody coming down, and if everybody could get a seat and we'll go ahead and get started. And so before we get started, I want to make this is out of order, Director, but early voting is happening, and guess what? It's next door. So doors are open, next building over until 7 p.m., so I encourage everybody to go vote, regardless of what political party you are. It's important to make your vote heard. All right, so commissioners, the agenda was mailed out earlier, and so we are on item B, the adoption of the agenda sent out earlier. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda? There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the agenda is adopted. And so we are on item C, which is the approval of the September 26, 2024 minutes, and those were also sent out earlier. And is there a motion to adopt the amendments or make a change? There's a motion to adopt, and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the September 26, 2024 minutes are adopted. And next is the recognition of the council members. And lo and behold, I don't see any council members. This might be a first, Director. I don't know. We usually have a whole room full. All right. No, I'm not seeing any council members. We'll move on to item E, which we love the council members coming down. The next is item E, which is items for deferral, withdrawal. And I think Amelia is going to take us through that.
Okay, our items for deferral or withdrawal tonight, starting on page 3 of your agenda, item number 1, 2023Z003TX001. This is the Downtown Code Amendment. Staff recommendation is defer to the January 9th meeting. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 5, 2024 SP036-001, 832 West Trinity. Staff recommendation is defer to the November 14th Planning Commission meeting. Item number 6, 2024 SP039-001, Brentwood Chase 3. Staff recommendation is defer to November 14th. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 8, 2024 S084-001, final plat of the Steinbach property. Staff recommendation is defer to November 14th. Item number 10, 2024 S134001, 102 Scenic View Road. Staff recommendation is defer to November 14th. Item number 11, 10971P001, 3620 Anderson Road Amendment. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. Item number 12, 2024 DTC 014002, 600 4th Avenue South. Staff recommendation is to defer to November 14th. And I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from this item. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 13, 2024 Z069PR001. Staff recommendation is deferred to the December 12th meeting. Item number 17, 2009 SP017004, 3607 Heights Ferry Road. Staff recommendation is to defer indefinitely. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 20, 2024 SP042001, Northview Senior Living. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. Item 21, 2024 SP043001, 1265 McGavick SP. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. Item 22, 2024 SP044001, 215 1 Mile. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 23, 2024 SP045001, 4144 Maxwell Road Residential. Staff recommendation is to defer to November 14th. Item number 26, 2024 SP048001, 4222 and 4278 Central Pike. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. On page 9 of your agenda, item number 28, 2024 S115001, Monroe Park Phase 1. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. Item number 29, 2024 S116001, Hamilton Church Road. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. Item number 30, 2024 S141001, Cane Ridge Farms North. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. And I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. Item number 31, 2024 S142001, Cane Ridge Farm South. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. And would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. On page 10 of your agenda, item number 33, 2024 S151001, 1122 Snow Avenue. Staff recommendation is deferred to November 14th. And that concludes our items for deferral or withdrawal.
Thank you. And so, Amelia, I'll repeat these, and commissioners, y'all make sure I get these right. But the items for deferral or withdrawal are the following. Items 1, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31, and 33. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
All right, commissioners, you've heard the items for deferral, withdrawal. Is there a motion to defer? Motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are deferred or withdrawn. Now, we're on to item F, which is the consent agenda. Amelia will take us through that as well.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda for tonight. Items noted below on the agenda on tentative consent will be read aloud at the beginning of the meeting by a member of staff to determine if there is opposition present. If there is opposition present, the items will be heard by the Planning Commission in the order in which they are listed on the agenda. If no opposition is present, the item will be placed on the consent agenda. So I will go ahead and read the items and ask if anyone is here in opposition. If you can raise your hand, I will note that that item will be pulled off of the consent agenda. As noticed to the public, items on the consent agenda will be voted on at a single time. No individual public hearing will be held, nor will the commission debate these items unless a member of the audience or the commission requests that the items be removed from the consent agenda. Starting on page 3 of the agenda, item number 2, 2024 SP015001, Talbot's Corner. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 3, 2024 SP016001, 751 South 5th Street. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 4, 2024 SP030001, McGavick and Keller Avenue. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 7, 2024 S016001, re-subdivision of Gwill Heights. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 9, 2024 S102001, reserved parcel 58 on the plan of Hidden Hills subdivision. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 14, 2024 Z074PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 15, 2024 Z018TX001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 16, 2024 Z019TX001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 18, 2024 SP 022001, 1500 3rd Avenue North. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 19, 2024 SP 032001, A+ self-storage. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 24, 2024 SP 046001, 7351 Charlotte Pike. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 25, 2024 SP 047001, 500 and 516 Hagan Street. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 27, 2024 DDU 001001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 9 of the agenda, item number 32, 2024 S143001, James Haley subdivision. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 10 of your agenda, item number 34, 2024 S152001, the Plan of Knowlton, Lot 1. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 35, 2005 P009002, 3101 Nolensville Pike Amendment. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 36, 2024 Z088PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 37, 2024 Z094PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 11 of your agenda, item number 38, 2024 Z102PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 39, 2024 Z107PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 40, 2024 Z111PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 41, 2024 Z112PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 42, 2024 Z114PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 12 of your agenda, item number 43, 2024 Z115PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 44, 2024 Z117PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 45, 2024 Z118PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 46, 2024 Z119PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. Item number 47, 2024 Z120PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. On page 13 of your agenda, item number 48, 2024 Z122PR001. Is anyone here in opposition to this item? This item will be on the consent agenda. I will go ahead and read through the consent agenda now with the full captions. As information for our audience, if you are not satisfied with the decision made by the Planning Commission today, you may appeal the decision by petitioning for a writ of cert with the Davidson County Chancery or Circuit Court. Your appeal must be filed within 60 days of the date of entry of the Planning Commission's decision. To ensure that your appeal is filed in a timely manner and that all procedural requirements have been met, please be advised that you should contact independent legal counsel. Our consent agenda for tonight, starting on page 3 of your agenda. Item number 2, 2024 SP 015001 Talbot's Corner. This is a request to rezone from CS, IWD, SP, and RS5 to SP zonings for property along Dickerson Pike to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. And I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. On page 4 of your agenda, item number 3, 2024 SP 016001 751 South 5th Street. This is a request to rezone from CS to SP zoning for properties along South 5th Street to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 4, 2024 SP 030001 1202 McGavick Pike and 1201 Keller Avenue. This is a request to rezone from R6 and R8 to SP zoning for properties along Keller Avenue and McGavick Pike to permit 8 multifamily residential units. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 7, 2024 S016001, re-subdivision of Gwill Heights. This is a request for a final plat to create 4 lots on property located at 2918 Lebanon Pike. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions, including an exception to Section 3 of the subdivision regulations. On page 5 of your agenda, item number 9, 2024 S102001, reserved parcel 58 on the plan of Hidden Hill subdivision. This is a request for a final plat to remove the reserve status and create 1 lot for property located at 5020 Roweno Drive. The staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Continuing on page 5, item number 12, 2024 DTC 014002, 600 4th Avenue South. Nope, sorry, that one is deferred. Item 12 is not on the consent agenda, it is deferred. On page 6 of your agenda, item number 14, 2024 Z074 PR 001. This is a request to rezone from AR2A to RS10 for a portion of property located at 935 Barnes Road. The staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 15, 2024 Z018TX001. This is a request to amend Title 17 of the zoning code and to specifically amend Chapter 1724 pertaining to plant standards. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 16, 2024 Z019TX001. This is a request to amend Title 17 of the Metro Zoning Code, specifically Chapters 1704 and 1728 pertaining to trees. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 7 of your agenda, item number 18, 2024 SP 022001, 1500 3rd Avenue North. This is a request to rezone from IR to SP for property located at 1500 3rd Avenue North to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. And I would like to note that Commissioner Blackshear is recused from that item. Item number 19, 2024 SP 032001 A+ self-storage. This is a request to rezone from CS and OR20 to SP for property along Patriot Way to permit a self-storage facility. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. On page 8 of your agenda, item number 24, 2024 SP 046001, 7351 Charlotte Pike. This is a request to rezone from R15 to SP for property along Charlotte Pike to permit non-residential uses. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item number 25, 2024 SP 047001, 500 and 516 Hagen Street. This is a request to rezone from MULA to SP zoning for properties along Hagan Street to permit a mixed-use development. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions and disapprove without all conditions. Item 27, 2024, DDU 001001. This is a request to apply a detached accessory dwelling unit overlay district to various properties located in East Nashville. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 9 of your agenda, item number 32, 2024 S143001, James Haley subdivision. This is a request for a final plat to create one lot located along Neely's Bend Road. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions including a variance from section 4 of the subdivision regulations. On page 10 of your agenda, item number 34, 2024 S152001, the plan of Knowlton Lot 1. This is a request for a final plat to replat property along Leland Lane. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 35, 2005P 009002, 3101 Nolensville Pike Amendment. This is a request to amend the preliminary plan for a planned unit development for property located along Nolensville Pike to permit a car wash. Staff recommendation is to approve with conditions. Item number 36, 2024 Z088PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS 7.5 to R8A for property located at 2718 Oakwood Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 37, 2024 Z094PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS 15 to R15 for properties located along Hart Lane and Saunders Lane. Staff recommendation is to approve. On page 11 of your agenda, item number 38, 2024 Z102PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to R6A for property located at 2801 Delaware Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 39, 2024 Z107PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS 7.5 to R6A for properties located along Chilton Street. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item number 40, 2024 Z111PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to R6A for property located at 1230 Bessie Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 41, 2024 Z112PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to R6A for property located at 311 Ludi Street. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 42, 2024 Z114PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RM6NS and RS15 to RM20ANS for properties located along Ashland City Highway. Staff recommendation is to disapprove RM20ANS and approve RM15ANS. On page 12 of your agenda, item number 43, 2024 Z115PR 001. This is a request to rezone from RS5 to RM20A for property located at 205 Joyner Avenue. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 44, 2024 Z117PR 001. This is a request to rezone from IWD to MULA NS for properties located along Lewis Street. Staff recommendation is to approve, and I would like to note that Commissioner Henley is recused from that item. Item number 45, 2024 Z118PR 001. This is a request to rezone from AR2A to RM9ANS for properties located along Una Antioch Pike. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 46, 2024 Z119PR 001. This is a request to rezone from single-family residential and multifamily residential to RM20 NS for property located along Morrison Street. Staff recommendation is to approve. Item 47, 2024 Z120PR 001. This is a request to rezone from AR2A to RS10 for a portion of property located along McRory Lane. Staff recommendation is to approve. And on page 13 of your agenda, Item number 48, 2024Z122PR001. This is a request to rezone from CN to R15 for properties located along Neely's Bend Road. Staff recommendation is to approve. And under item H, other business, item 49, adoption of the 2025 Planning Commission calendar, and item 54, to accept the director's report and approve administrative items.
That was a lot, Amelia.
It was.
Are you out of breath?
I'm doing okay, but I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing my voice.
Thank you, Amelia. So commissioners, on the consent agenda, which will pass all of these at the same time, Amelia, make sure and commissioners, make sure I don't make a mistake. These are the following items to be passed all at one time on the consent agenda. Items number 2, 3, 4, 7, 9, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 24, 25, 27, 32, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 54. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, commissioners, you've heard the items to adopt on the consent agenda. Is there a motion? Motion? Motion and second. Any other discussion? And if everybody could silent their phones, we appreciate it. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and those items are adopted. And so that leads us to say that there are no other public hearing items, but I did see 2 council members. I want to make sure I always take care of the council members. Councilor Benedict, would you like to speak? Are you okay? You're okay? And then Councilor Berkeley Allen, are you okay? You want to come up and say a few words? Come on up. It's good to see you again. Council lady, good to see you.
Found it.
There we go. And hold on, Council lady, 1 second. If everybody could exit the room, and then that way we can finish up our meeting. We really appreciate everybody coming down. If you want to exit, you don't have to. You can stay around. Just if you are exiting, please do so. All right, Councilor, go ahead. We can hear you now.
Thank you so much. I'm Councilmember Berkeley Allen, Councilmember at Large, and I want to thank you commissioners. I know how hard you work, and I am grateful for the many hours that you've put in preparing for this. It's nice when so many folks can leave on consent. Welcome back to Commissioner Clifton. Going for another record. That's great. Also, I'm here to speak on items 15 and 16, which deal with plant standards and trees, and I want to thank the staff for all the work that they've put into this. I'm in support of these, but there are a couple items that I might be interested in tweaking, and I just want to get on the record for those so that when it maybe shows up slightly different at the council, that there's no need to send it back here. So the first one, item 15, deals with plant standards. I support strengthening what the standards are for sizes and numbers of trees, and appreciate that. There is one item that I would like to ask for flexibility on. Currently, it requires a 2-inch caliper tree in almost every circumstance, and there just are some times when our verge is just not big enough for the size root ball that comes with a 2-inch caliper tree. So I would just, and I'm going to work with staff on if that language becomes there or not, but would just like to ask for the possibility for the urban forester to provide some flexibility when it's appropriate in unique circumstances. And then secondly, on item 16, which deals with trees, some of that is some fancy stuff going from the typical drip line protection zone that we've had in the past to a critical root zone. That's catching up with current standards, and I support that. There are a number of places in there where it changes the approval process from just the urban forester to what it says is appropriate staff. And I just would love to maybe add some specificity to saying that the appropriate staff are people who know about the tree regulations. So not to say that I don't think we have appropriate staff on codes, parks, and other departments, but if we could add some language that just explains who those people are and why they have enough knowledge to do what we've currently only had the urban forester to do. I think that would be helpful. There's also the possibility of adding some language under the tree maintenance section about managing invasive species, because we know that as we're trying to protect our urban canopy, that sometimes we have invasive species that don't provide much benefit or habitat, and that being able to deal with those would be effective. So with that, I appreciate y'all putting that on consent agenda. It will come before council, and I would hope to be able to make just some slight adjustments, and wanted to get those issues on the record. So.
Thank you, and I think that we don't have any issues with what the council lady is saying.
I think, forgive me.
Yeah, no, Director.
Lisa, if you could just walk through the process that we go through with council in terms of determining how text amendments are amended and when they come back to the commission. But I'll just say we're happy to work with the council member. We appreciate her support in this and all landscape and tree work and advocacy there. But Lisa, can you just talk us through those procedures?
Sure. So typically with text amendments, it's not unusual for there to be changes between the time that you all have reviewed it and when it ultimately gets passed at council. It's actually quite frequent that there are changes. We will typically work with council members on changes if it's generally consistent with the intent of what you all made a recommendation on, then it will not change your recommendation. If it is of such a, if the changes are so much that it would essentially be in conflict with what you all have recommended, then it may be that it comes back to you all. But I know that Councilmember Allen reached out to the folks on our team that had been working on this amendment. We've already started some of those conversations. So these feel like probably minor changes at this point, but we'll continue to work through it. But if we sort of feel like this is not actually what the Planning Commission recommended, it is a greater change, then it would come back to you all.
Thank you, and that's a good review. And Council Lady, thank you for coming down and putting that on the record. We really appreciate
Sure thing.
The Council Lady has been on the council for a long time as a seasoned professional, so we appreciate
that.
Thank
Great.
you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. All right, so no public hearing items, so everybody, that leads us to item H, which is other business, and even though we put item 49 on the consent agenda, I just want to point out, we do have 6 months where we only have one meeting, and one is in January, one is in July because of 4th of July, one is in October for fall break, the other is November, which is Thanksgiving holidays, and then the last is December, which is the holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas. And so we've adopted this schedule over the years, haven't we, Commissioner Blackshear, to really try to be good to y'all's schedule. And since y'all are all volunteers, we really tried to make sure that you all have family time during the holidays. And so, hi, Vice Chair, how are you? So the Vice Chair and I, we think this is a good schedule, but if you ever have questions about it or want to change something, please talk to the director. All right, so that leads us to item 50, and Lisa is going to talk to us about that.
Sure. So I sent this out to you all, and then we sent it again earlier this week. From time to time, it sort of becomes necessary for us to make amendments to our rules of procedure. And these rules are rules that sort of govern your operations here as a commission and the processes that you all use. And so this is separate from sort of what's in the charter, what you're charged to do. This is you outlining your own processes. For example, the rules outline what type of noticing takes place for subdivision plats or for zone changes, because those aren't actually required through code. So your rules are your processes. So there are a few changes, a couple really minor that I want to talk about, pretty quickly, and then a couple that are a little bit more substantive. First of all, we've made a minor tweak to the rules. The rules have always included language about if you wish to speak, you fill out a form. We stopped getting the form filled out sort of after we came back from COVID. One of the things, mainly because we didn't want everybody sharing a bunch of pens. It just felt like it was, and we didn't really do anything with the forms. And so we have clarified the language in the rules just to take that out. You're not actually filling out a form, and just indicating that people that wish to speak on items should be present at the beginning of the meeting. Then they will be here for the the portion of the meeting where we're running through the tentative consent. So that's a minor change, but one that's a clarification. The second thing is to clarify that people wishing to speak at a public hearing do not have to give their precise street address. This is a change that council made with this term. When someone gets up to speak, they could say, hello, my name is Lisa, I live in East Nashville, and I would like to speak on this item, as opposed to giving your actual physical street address. That is around some safety concerns, or, sometimes people just wouldn't want to share that information. And so allowing people to be a little bit more general in their location when they're speaking at a public hearing. We certainly wouldn't want to discourage someone from speaking because they didn't want to provide that information. So that makes that just a little bit more general. So those are the couple of minor things. The next two things are, first, some clarification or actually a change to the way that the Planning Commission processes and reviews text amendments. This is something that Lucy and I and Councilmember Gamble and some others have been having conversations around how we process text amendments to our zoning code. The text amendments can come to us in a couple of different ways. Sometimes we are the body that is drafting and proposing text amendments, and sometimes those are coming to us from council. But we have found that they can be very complex and they require just a really thoughtful review. And so what we've done is we have added into your rules that text amendments that come before the Planning Commission will come before the Planning Commission twice. The first time that they are presented the first time that they appear on agenda, they will be presented. The public hearing will be held so we can hear from the community. It is not unusual for during text amendments something to be brought up during the public hearing that perhaps we as staff have not thought about or haven't had a chance to research. And so we want to be able to have presentation to you, have the public hearing, hear from the community, close the public hearing, and then defer it. Essentially the equivalent of 2 meetings, roughly 4 weeks. So that would allow staff then to do any necessary research, to make any necessary changes. Then it would appear back on your agenda for a review and recommendation. We think this is a really thoughtful way to bring some clarity to the process. It allows you all the time that you need to consider these really important changes to our code in a manner that allows you to sort of absorb it all and hear from everybody that's involved. So that's the first thing. And then the second is, from time to time, we have been finding ourselves preparing technical studies. So this is something that's sort of new for our department as we have expanded our community plans team into project management. One such study that we recently undertook was a stormwater study. And so we have found ourselves involved more in these studies that are real technical advisory studies that don't necessarily fall under the purview of, say, a community plan amendment. So we wanted to put into the rules the process by which you all would review those technical studies. And what we've done is we've included language in there that allows you as the commission to decide whether or not a public hearing would be held. So one wouldn't automatically be held, but you all would be empowered to make a determination in regards to a public hearing. Some technical studies may be such public interest that they would warrant one, others not, and so we have left that to you all to make that determination. And so those are the changes that we have proposed to the rules, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any discussion?
I just had one quick question on the technical study. If we did have a public hearing, is it just for the sake of discussion, or is there a vote that comes from that?
So I think if we're placing a technical study on the agenda, it would be for you all to approve that technical study. And so we wanted to set up, it's not unusual for us to put sort of things under other business now that might be that sort of study, but our rules are sort of specific that things under other business don't get a public hearing. And so this feels a little bit different than some of those like participation agreements or other type things that we might put under other business, and they warrant a different kind of consideration. And it would be something that we would be bringing for you all to either adopt a recommendation or to make a recommendation to another body. And so we wanted to place those sort of outside of other business on the agenda and then give you all the authority to set a public hearing.
Any other discussion? Director?
I just would say, so this falls under the umbrella of a goal that I think I've had and we as a commission have had to plan at every scale and to really broaden our ability to do that. And so I think it will be apparent to you when you get the technical studies, whether it's really something that warrants a public discussion. What's interesting is our work is so geared towards the general plan, and you have really specific scenarios for how you apply that. Well, some of this is work leading up to a general plan update. And so it's really about figuring out the right type of input that would be necessary. I think some of these would warrant public engagement, and I think you would likely be interested in hearing that. And as Lisa mentioned earlier, we're human, we'll look at things from a certain lens, and sometimes we'll hear something from the public that is different from how we have analyzed something. And so we hope in your capacity, you could say, okay, that seems like that warrants a little extra look and nudge. And so we want to create room for that.
And so at the end, we would vote to adopt the study?
Yes, and in some instances, the study may not be a general plan update. It may be a recommendation to another body. The stormwater study we did with water. And at the end of that, we recommended that water take a look at its stormwater regulations and look at tree standards. That's not a general plan update. That was just us going through a process with them and saying, hey, this has raised issues we can't solve in Nashville Next. You, water, need to solve these in your own regulations. As the departments become more interdisciplinary, which is great, breaking down silos, yes, that means that we got to talk to each other in different ways than just the documents that we, are incredibly valuable, but that govern our work. So much of what you think about is effectuated by NDOT and is effectuated by water. And so that's how we're hoping to try to get into this space. And of course, if we go through one or two and you say, wait, let's rethink a little bit how we're doing this, of course, we'll adjust as needed.
Okay. And one more thing I did want to note is that the way that we have set it up in the rule is that you would vote at one meeting, there will be a public hearing, and this technical study will be on the agenda at a future date. So you're sort of setting and giving notice. It wouldn't be where we would have it on the agenda and you say, we're going to have a public hearing tonight, because people wouldn't know to come. So we've set it up as sort of, you would put it on the agenda, vote on the public hearing, and then it would be set for a date to give the notice to the public.
Any other discussion? So we'll have to vote on this. The rules were sent out, and is there a motion to adopt the new rules? There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Item 50 is adopted. Every once in a while, we'll do rule changes. So if you feel the need to address a rule, talk to the director and or Lisa, and we'll talk through it. Because we have had serious discussions in the past about rule changes. And every so often, we feel like there's an instance where we need to change rules. So I appreciate the staff. They're very technical, so you could read them on a Sunday while you're watching golf or something. All right, so item 51 is historic. Our historic commissioner's not here. Item 52, parks. Commissioner Henley.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of items. I think at the past Parks Board meeting, we did have a presentation from the Mayor's office. Bob Mendez gave that, reflecting a lot of the work that's happening on the East Bank. I think our planning staff did a fantastic job on that, on the Imagine East Bank, and seeing that being brought to life and getting a lot of compliments from the Parks Department on that work. Again, I'll highlight that the plan to play is getting an update as well. I think, again, another collaborative effort between the Parks Department and planning excited to see that. I think it's a great opportunity there. And then just a tidbit that the Fort Negley Park, which has its phase 1 approved by the park board, had a public meeting which was quite well attended and I think quite well received. There's been some positive media and follow-up from that. So still active time period for parks, even though we know the summer is usually when we get a lot of engagement there, but a lot of work related to planning and some of the designs and rollouts there.
Thank you, Commissioner. And I did read an article about it, so it was well covered in the press too. Executive Committee, Vice Chair, you and I pretty much the schedule is what we pay and the rules. So we don't have anything else to report. We have, the director and I have talked briefly about potentially, we haven't done a retreat in a long time. And so with the mayor, we would like to do that again. They're a little busy with some transit stuff. I don't know if y'all have heard about it. But so maybe after that, we can talk about that and we'll talk with the director and we'll get feedback from y'all. It would be like, hopefully not an all-day thing. We used to do these on the weekends, which I know everybody's they love their weekends. And so don't want to take away your family time. So we'll have to figure that out. But it's an idea and I've always been interested in it because I think that it's important that we have interaction with the mayor as a body and listen to him. And then if we have questions, and spend some time together. And I think spending time together and learning about some things is good. So we used to do that, sir. Remember all that? And we sang Kumbaya and Namaste and all that. But it is kind of fun, I remember. And so, COVID kind of knocked it out. And so we're starting to talk about it again. So, okay. More to come on that, probably after the holidays, maybe. Director, anything from you?
Just thank you for your service. We have 2 major housing initiatives that are, one is going to be delivered in December, the Unified Housing Plan. You were briefed on that several months ago by Angie Hubbard. And then the Housing and Infrastructure Study under Councilwoman Gamble's stewardship is set to kick off and be delivered to council in March of next year with a potential extension of 60 days. And so I'll be working with the chairman and you to make sure that we set up the appropriate way to brief this body and get feedback on those items. But it's a significant amount of work and important work. And so we look forward to engaging you on that.
Thank you, Director. Appreciate that. Council Lady, legislative update, item 55.
Wrong button. Thank you, Chair, and I want to thank the staff for all of the hard work that you all are doing in conducting those studies, and everyone is looking forward to getting updates when they're ready. The staff has also identified some clerical errors in our 2-story residential overlay district text amendment, and so they have, in working with them, I'll be bringing legislation in November at our November 7th meeting to clear up those errors in that legislation. So that is something that will be coming up at the next council meeting, which is actually been rescheduled to the 7th because the 5th is election day.
Thank you, Commissioner. And this is probably out of order, but I don't know if you have all noticed, but we have a guy that's come back to the department. Bob. Welcome back,
Yes,
Bob.
welcome back.
Let's give him a round of applause. And we have a commissioner that's come back. Well, temporarily. Commissioner Blackshear it's always good to see Commissioner Blackshear. So it was good to see you guys when I walked in. So we're glad to have, Commissioner, you've been back. So yeah, you can leave. It's like Hotel California around here. I do want to say that I'm extremely pleased with the staff team. They've been working hard. City is growing. Yes, give them a round of applause because, as you know, Nashville is growing. We're the it city. There's a lot of stuff going on. And when people talk about planning in Nashville, and they're very excited about Nashville. Even when I go and visit other cities, they want to talk about Nashville. And so I'm extremely proud of the team and what they do. I'm extremely proud of the commissioners. Y'all are volunteers. You spend a lot of time doing this and working with the staff, and you probably hear from a lot of people in your community. We're very proud of y'all. We have a lot of good stuff going on, and we have a wonderful city. So I'm very, very proud of y'all. And so keep up the good work, and we'll forge ahead. And so any other business? Is there a motion to adjourn? We're adjourned.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.